Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. It has been a beautiful day today. It is evening and the sun is setting. Sunshine. We have not had that for quite a while. It's actually not that cold out. My hair is just a little crazy, so it's kind of containing it. And I mean, it's a little cool. But we had 2 beautiful days this weekend of sunshine. This week is supposed to be sunny. It's kind of perfect timing or funny timing, seeing as, Punxsutawney Phil didn't see his shadow, which means we've gone 3 years. The past 3 years, my daughter cried on Groundhog Day because he saw his shadow. And this year he didn't, so she didn't cry. I don't know that she would have cried anyways because she's getting older, but we broke the streak. I'm just heading back to do animal chores. I figured I'd bring you guys along. So last week on February 1st, Thursday, it was my husband and I's 10-year wedding anniversary. We got married 10 years ago in a little courthouse in a blizzard. And so we had decided we were going to go away. We didn't ever have a honeymoon. Right after, so we got married February 1st, and end of February, my husband left for basic training for the United States Army. So we didn't have a honeymoon. I was still in nursing school at the time. I was in my last semester at that point, and so there was no way we could go away even for a little while. We took a night away, and that was it. So we decided for 10 years we were going to do something, and we booked a little Airbnb cabin about 45 minutes from here. We didn't want to book it too far because it's February, and we didn't know what the weather would be like. So when I had looked at the booking, I had not noticed that it was a cabin with kind of like a duplex type thing. So it had a shared wall, and really wasn't a huge deal. We didn't think it would be the big deal or anything. But it was this cabin in the woods, had a hot tub, and was cute, and it was private. Otherwise, you just shared a wall, but your driveways were separate. Everything else, there was no you didn't see each other or anything. Attack of the chickens. And so it was cute. We get there, very cute setup. It's in the woods, but it was fairly close to the road actually. And so we actually heard a decent amount of road noise, and just so you hear the neighbors talking. And we were there for a day. We were supposed to be there for 2 nights. We were there for a day, and then Friday night we got there, and Saturday morning we just were we want to go home. We miss home. It was funny reading the guest book. It's oh, such a cute cabin in the woods, so quaint and cozy and away from it all, and a quiet place to get away. And oh, down the road there's a place with farm fresh eggs and homemade breakfast and all this stuff, and her handmade breakfast, blah blah. And my husband's he looks at me and he goes, "That's our life." That is literally our life. There's nothing different about staying here. Yeah, there's a hot tub. That was about it. So it was funny to realize how much we built this life to get away from the hustle and bustle of the normal world, and how much we really have been able to get away from everything. I mean, obviously, we always knew, our way of living is a little outside maybe the norm, although it is becoming a little bit more normal to live this way. It's definitely still outside of a lot of what people kind of their normal. And so we just realized people would almost want to come, maybe not live our farm life necessarily, but live out in the country like we do, where it's so quiet. We don't have road noise. We have wonderful neighbors who, for the most part, they leave us alone unless they need something, we need something. We work together for things. We support each other, but don't bug each other. But that's what people are getting away to go seek, and we have that. So why go away and pay to have that when we were more comfortable at home? So we came home Saturday morning. Our son came home. We went and picked up our dog from my parents. They were watching the kids, and my son wanted to come home, so we're that's fine, whatever. And then later that evening, my daughter came home too, so both kids ended up home. We didn't really have a weekend away, but you know what? Wouldn't change it. So we have, oh my gosh, we had our hen hatch out, our one hen hatched out 6 chicks. Well, 3 of them are roosters and 3 of them are hens. And the 3 roosters are big enough we're going to process them actually in a couple days. But they get kicked out of the coop every night, at least a couple times by our main rooster before they finally end up in and I can shut the door. Honestly, if this one doesn't go in, like, may the odds be ever in his favor. I hear you, piggies. I'm coming. Oh, they get kicked out by the hens, too. It was one of those things, though. It was just, like, realizing how much, like, our life is pretty awesome. We were very lucky that we built this life that we don't want to get away from necessarily. We realized, like, well, we wouldn't do that again. We wouldn't pay for a weekend away again. We'll go, like, if we ever want to go on vacation somewhere where it's different and we are going to do things, especially, like, as a family, that's different. But, like, just to go away for a weekend, maybe have a kid-free weekend. Stay here and have a kid-free weekend, but, like, I don't necessarily want to go anywhere. So, all 3 pigs are back in together. Bruno's with his girls and everything. And all of Mirabelle's piglets sold. And so we just have the 3 right now, the 3 breeders. They will be due, Isabella, if she got bred first round, she'll be due like very, very end of April, beginning of May. Mirabelle will be due closer to like end of May, middle to end of May, if she gets bred first round. But we'll see how they do and how they take. Their pasture is an absolute mud pit, but this pasture is our one good pasture right now. They were over there, a couple of them were over there for a little while, and they muddied it up. This is our one good pasture, and I want to leave it good until it gets a little bit warmer and drier, and then we'll move over a hutch. I don't want them to ruin all the pastures and then them have nothing good come springtime when things really start growing. So they're gonna stay in this pasture. They've got lots of hay. They've got hay in their hutch, and they've got their round bale that they're spreading and using to lay on and relax on. I have to get them water. But they're gonna stay in here for a bit. I plan on like middle of March, middle to end of March, frost seeding all but this pasture, and I'll save seed to seed this pasture. But I'm gonna seed Bruno's pasture over there, the farrowing pasture, and the far one. I'm gonna put a little bit in this one too. And then once that starts growing and we can get them off of this one, we'll heavily seed this one too. So all the pastures will be back to green for the summertime, for the, basically the best time for them to be on pasture. This year's been rough. So we have been warmer than usual. We have been very wet. We've had rainstorms where we've gotten like an inch or 2, like a 24-hour period. And they said if the temperatures have been colder, we would have gotten like 2 to 3 feet of snow, which we haven't had in many years. But this is just, you can't do anything. It's not the pigs rooting. This is not rooting. This is them walking on wet, soggy ground that their hoofs just tear up. They're not doing it to ruin the pastures. It's just them walking on it. Looks like this. So it'll be heavily seeded. We're going to use a actual pig mix, which I think is going to be better because it's got a little bit more denser growth type plants, a lot more clover, orchard grass, things like that are going to be more beneficial for like long term, keeping the ground covered. And hopefully that'll help with not having such muddy pastures going forward. Well, those 2 roos won't go in, so they're going to be out for the night. They'll be fine. We have hens that stay out sometimes, and just as long as they're not stupid about it and they roost somewhere, they'll be fine for the most part. And if they're not, well, they were going in the freezer anyways in a couple days. And there's really not much I can do. I can't force them to go in. They keep going over the door, but as soon as I go to the door, they run away. And if I open the door, other chickens will come out. And it'll just be a mess. But I just wanted to let you guys know and kind of update you guys and tell you what happened this weekend. I just thought it was funny that we like our life. We like our farm. We like how quiet it is here. It's just so peaceful. Most we hear is some animals, occasional train, but that's way back. and then just nature noises. It's wonderful. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Remember, we're growing today for a better tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and join me on the next one.